You're listening to the Frame100 podcast, a show by Brickfilmers for Brickfilmers.
And welcome to the Frame100 podcast, the show where there is no frame blending and bossing say. You're listening to episode 13 of the show, aka our Avatar: The Last Airbender special. I'm Chris, known as Gold Brick Productions, here with Trevor, aka Suited Ninja Nerd Studios.
There is no Trevor in bossing say.
Trevor, you can't just steal my joke.
That was terrible.
Okay. Okay.
Wow. We should just cancel the whole show right now. And Sam, aka Locker74 Productions.
Sup, fellas? Or ladies? Whatever.
And Marcus, aka Brick Hat Studios.
On the night of September 15th, Chris, 9:37 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where were you? And where's Jared's body?
Well, I'm right here. Jared, say hi! Kidding, he's not here.
Hi.
That was the worst Jared impression I've ever heard.
Alright,
Jared is
I'm
being
so
an
sorry.
adult right
Jared, I'm
now,
sorry.
so...
Please come. Jared, I'm sorry. Please come back. We miss you a lot.
Baby, come back. You can blame
Let's
it
be
on-
real, Jared's like
on
more
me.
of a real adult than all four of us combined.
That's debatable, but yes, I
I love how Sam's like, excuse me?
Pardon me.
pardon.
Alright, maybe Sam and Jared are the most adultish out of all of us. The most childish of all of us is definitely Trev, though, I gotta say that.
I agree.
I thought you were gonna say Marcus, and I was about to start nodding my head, but you didn't.
I
I feel
could see me
betrayed
being the most childish person here.
I feel
Just like
betrayed
Aang, you
now.
know? Aang's pretty childish. I mean,
Except
he is a
Marcus
child.
finally kicked his Magic the Gathering habit, which I think is a very adult thing to do.
Yeah, I lost
That'll
so
work.
much money. Let's not talk about that hobby.
I feel about that.
Anyways,
Speaking of childish characters becoming more mature, Aang.
yes, Aang.
That's the worst
Well,
segue I've done in a while.
technically... Okay, wait, we can just... Anybody who's watching this, like, they already know we're gonna go into spoilers, right? We can just go full out.
Yes, absolutely.
Alright, cool.
Right here,
Yeah.
right now. Spoiler warning for those of you who have not watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Nickelodeon series, not the James Cameron Blue People movie. We don't talk about that one
Or...
anymore.
Oh, we need to talk about the other movie too now, I guess, right?
There is no Avatar: The Blue People in Bossing Say. I swear to God, that is not gonna be the last time you hear that joke tonight.
Well, I'm gonna
not.
put a
I
dragon
thought you were gonna
frame
make the
sound
joke.
effect over
I
each
can't
one
wait
of them.
for it.
I legit thought you were gonna be like, there is no Avatar live action movie in Bossing Say. I legit thought you were gonna say
That
that.
too, but we'll talk about that a little
Yeah,
bit
we
later.
have to talk about that, unfortunately.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I am
No, not
terrified
really.
for the next hour and 10 minutes.
This is gonna be wonderful.
But,
So
a
I'll
little bit of backstory onto why this is a thing. So, a while ago, we all just started watching Avatar: The Last Airbender because it came on Netflix, and virtually everybody and their mother was telling us to watch it. And I think what made this show super cool for us is that we all have a variety of different tastes and interests when it comes to a lot of media. I think there's only relatively a handful of different media where we all universally love it a whole lot. Like Star Wars, Marvel, DC. Avatar: The Last Airbender,
Star
I can
Wars?
safely say,
I don't
is
know
one of
about
those.
That one. I don't know about that Star
The
Wars.
point being, Trev,
Quit interrupting.
Don't forget Community. Oh wait, Sam? You didn't like that, did you?
Nope.
the point
Never
being
mind.
that we all really like the show a lot, not only as just an animated show, but as surprisingly a show that should have been this little dumb kids flick that actually turned out to be a lot more layered and a lot more fun. And so we thought it'd be kind of cool if we all talked about it and what we thought about it and anything we maybe took away that we'll probably shamelessly copy for our brick films and whatnot.
Yeah.
And as these fine gents have said, this is a spoiler-filled podcast. If you're not a fan of that, go back, watch all 3 books of Avatar, and then come back to this podcast. It'll be a while, but it'll be worth it.
And if you don't understand what books means, watch the show and you'll figure it out.
That is a good note, actually.
Yes.
There we go.
I guess do we want to start first with Marcus? Because Marcus, I guess you're technically the only one here who watched the show when it was actually airing live, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, Not exactly. I watched like the reruns.
Oh wait, never mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's close enough.
Say, I watched them when they first came out on Nickelodeon. I was in grade school.
Oh wait, I missed that part. You never mentioned that to me.
Yeah, it was, okay.
Regardless.
Yeah, I watched.
Tell us about it.
I think I watched like the first book when I think it was in grade school, maybe. And at first, like, it was good, and then it started to lose me. And then my parents found out I was watching it and told me that I'm not allowed to watch it anymore, so I had to stop. So.
Oh.
But it was, I mean, I remember as a kid liking it. I didn't fully understand everything that was going on. I was just like, yeah, they're throwing rocks. Yeah, airbending. Yeah, they can shoot fire out their fist. That's all I remember. I don't remember the, genocide, the Nazi symbolism. Like, I missed all of that. I was just like, fire, yeah!
Death, yeah! Let's
Yeah,
just throw this
death!
giant boulder
They
at this guy. They'll
totally-
surely survive.
They totally massacred the entire air race. Yeah! I missed all of that as a kid. And then my parent, and then...
Understandable.
Well, yeah, so I don't remember a lot from the first time I watched it. I just, like I said, I just liked the series.
Okay.
And to be fair, I can't blame you for missing out on all that. See, when I first watched it, I missed out on all of the nuanced symbolism as well, because I didn't watch the show. I watched the M. Night Shyamalan movie because Orion recommended it to me
All right, we
as
just
a
literally
joke.
lost all the viewers.
Like, I have to preface it with this because it gets better. So, my cousin Orion, he hangs out quite a bit in the Lego community. He's made a name for himself as the worst chef ever. But he recommended that I watch The Last Airbender by M. Night Shyamalan. I'm like, this looks kind of dumb. Here we go. I remember watching it just being perpetually confused and laughing at everything and thinking it was atrocious. And you know me and B-rated horrible movies. That just kind of stuck with me for a while. And so when the show finally came out, I thought, I should probably give this a shot. Because I hear it's good, and it'll probably make sense why the movie was so awful. Not only did I love the show, I hate the movie more. I didn't even think that was possible.
Yeah.
And you mean when the show came out on Netflix, right? Because when did the live action
Correct,
film come
yeah.
out? Because that was
2012.
So that was
No
about,
way.
2011.
No, it was before
that was
that.
about a decade after.
Let me look it up.
It was
Say,
about a
'cause I-
decade after the show aired, I think.
It was like maybe 2009?
We're talking about the show or the movie?
2000... No, that's James Cameron one. Crap.
We're talking about the show or the movie?
The
IMDb
live-action
has
movie.
I guess
betrayed
both
me.
the show and the movie, because the show
Oh.
originally came out, I think, in 2003.
Yeah.
No, 2000.
Let's look it up here.
2006. Actually,
James
I think.
Cameron is making my life very difficult right now.
Good. There he goes again, man. First he had to retell the story
Seriously.
of Titanic in a super romanticized way, and then Blue People.
Oh, it's 2010.
And now this.
See, I personally hold that the end of Titanic is the beginning of Inception, but that's for the Christopher Nolan podcast. But the TV series started in 2005,
2005.
and the movie was 2010, so I was about a year off.
Okay.
So I was in...
So I guess,
What was I in? 5th grade? 4th grade
School.
when that came out?
I was
Yeah.
5. I was 4, actually, when that happened. So, and we didn't have
Wow.
cable TV, so I, of course, never would have even seen it anyways.
yeah, I would have been in like 3rd or 4th grade, maybe. I would have picked on Trev on the playground. But I
I
didn't
would
watch
have
it as
too.
a kid, unfortunately.
I wouldn't discount
I was
that,
8 years
yeah. I wouldn't discount that. You'd be the guys that would like be shoving my face in the sand in the sandbox and make me eat it.
There,
Nah, I think we would have gotten along.
You guys
we
had
also would have gotten in a lot of
sandboxes?
trouble. But the point being,
Yeah. So then I guess Marcus, because you said you watched it around the time it was airing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I literally the way I watched it was like random episodes in no certain order.
Oh, it's
And
just
I
the worst
pieced
way
it
to
all
watch it.
together in my head. Whenever I watched the episode, I was like, okay, I think this fits here. I'm like, oh, this makes sense now. So it's very all jumbled up until, like, of course, when the show appeared on Netflix. I also watched a bunch of random scenes on YouTube as well. So
you know,
kinda
that
helped.
brings up an interesting point because I can't remember who I was talking with this about, but a lot of shows that aired like in the early 2000s before streaming really became a big stream deal, they had to structure the show so that way you could jump in on any episode.
I did
But then
that.
after streaming started happening, then people, the concept of binge watching occurred. Then you could actually structure a show sequentially. It's like Phineas and Ferb, for instance. Any of the 4 seasons, you can jump in on any random Phineas and Ferb episode. Yep. You don't need to know what's going on, but you can figure it out pretty quickly. Yep. Whereas Milo Murphy's Law, the sequel show, because it came around during the age of streaming, you could watch that sequentially as the story develops. And Phineas and Ferb only came out 2 years after Avatar: The Last Airbender started premiering.
Wow, that's
so
crazy.
It's interesting that they could pull off a sequential show like that and risk having people just jump in at random times and be like, okay, he can bend fire now. Wait, I thought this is The Last Airbender. What?
I can really... I'm going to date myself real quick. I remember when Phineas and Ferb premiered, too.
Wow, see, I don't even remember that. I don't even remember when I started watching that, because I wouldn't have had Disney still at that point. Because my family didn't actually get cable until I was 15, which would have been about 5 years ago. So that's fun.
Well, honestly, without cable, you're not really missing out on much.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, two shows I cared about, and we just talked about both of them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, for me, like, if I ever wanted to watch Ninjago, which I very much wanted to keep up with the show, I'd have to go over to, like, neighbors and friends' houses to watch them, to watch all the episodes. They'd pull them up on DVR, and then we just watch them through that, so, it's cool stuff.
Trev, you don't watch Ninjago on TV. You watch Ninjago through sketchy pirated episodes on Google Drive.
In 240p.
This is how the true fans do it.
In Spanish dub.
In Spanish dub, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're lucky if we get Spanish. The other day it was Chinese, and it was hilarious. Ni hao, Cole. But the point being...
That's great. So what about you, Chris?
I just gave my horror story for
that's
how
right.
I started.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wow.
The ultimate redemption angle.
I completely forgot that you just mentioned that. Jeez. That just goes to show you it really is 9:40 at night on a Tuesday. Yay. But yeah, for me, I had never seen it prior to it releasing on Netflix earlier this year. I had never had an interest in watching it. I don't think I had ever really even seen any scenes of it prior to watching it.
Wow.
Like, I knew that, I guess the only thing I really knew about it was the opening sequence, how does it go? It's oh god.
You
water,
had 3 seasons to memorize it.
It's water, fire, earth, and then air, right? Or is it water, earth, fire, air?
Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. How could you not remember this meme, Trev?
I remember...
Avatar cycle. It's not like it wasn't the most important thing for Aang's development as a character.
Aren't you the meme lord of our group? Shouldn't you know this by now?
Me?
Shouldn't you have? You're the meme lord of this group. You should know the meme. I'm disappointed, Trev.
Everything changed when the Fire Nation
You have brought this honor to the Frame100 group.
Regardless, I knew about the opening title sequence, and that was about it. So for me going into this, I was like, okay, it's very anime inspired. It's already losing some points in my book, but I'll give it a shot. People are telling me it's so good, and I did. It took me about a month to get through it. Loved it. It's great. I remember going into it, I did bash it at first for the animation, because the animation is it's done with a very limited art style. And I remember through some of my animation classes we've had so far this semester, other people also agree with me in the sense that it's not great how limited of a style of animation it is. But I attempted to recreate a scene, a very famous scene from book 3, myself. It's not even famous. And I feel like I have to eat my words because, man, it was really hard to animate that.
That's rough, basically buddy. Rotoscoped that scene, dude.
I basically rotoscoped That's Rough Buddy, but yeah.
Which, to be fair, is from the 3rd season where the animation has drastically improved.
Oh yeah, that is the one cool thing about the show is you can definitely see the budget had increased from season 1 into season 2, and then season 2 into season 3. Books 1, 2, and 3.
I feel that.
It's rough, buddy.
So I guess the one question that we gotta start off with first and foremost: if you could bend any of the elements, which one would you choose? Why are you thinking about this?
All right, well, since everybody's already thinking, I'm just gonna straight up say it's Earth for me.
Okay, there we go. Boom. Marcus did the homework.
Okay.
So I guess
for me,
do I need any reasons or no? Okay.
Oh no, you can expand on it. No,
yeah, please,
Trev, you can wait longer.
Yeah, please. I don't know about that one.
I'm just speaking on Trev.
So
yeah.
I'm actually really afraid of heights, and I like walking on. Like even in elevators, I do not like elevators.
No one likes elevators.
But like, it's also because
we stand escalators instead.
No, I hate escalators too. Like, I actually get a little motion sickness from escalators.
Oh God.
Look, let's not escalate the situation here.
But anyway, okay. So the reason why I prefer Earth is because I think of myself as a stubborn person as well from time to time, and also because this type of fighting style that Earthbenders do is like closely related to like the kung fu training I did back then when I was a kid.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Sweet.
Very like stance-based, flat-footed, big.
Yeah, it's
motions.
The other day when I was watching like, it was back in book 1 where you like meet Boomy for the first time, like the old dude. Like when he was like crossing his legs, I remember doing that.
Man, wait, you remember earthbending?
Yeah. Yeah,
Marcus,
pretty much.
You were an earthbender the whole time and you didn't tell us? What the heck, man?
Yeah, dude.
There we go.
Those are my reasons.
Makes sense. I feel like sort of the opposite end of the spectrum. I don't know if there'd be sort of polar opposites, but I'm probably gonna go with fire. It's very industrial, intense, flamboyant, kind of my style.
Flamboyant.
I have no martial arts training whatsoever.
See, I do, but I also agree with Chris. I think that I would be a firebender, and then also once I found out
I'm pretty sure firebending's like related. Sorry for cutting you off, Trev, but I'm pretty sure firebending's related to karate, right?
I don't know. Like,
I want to say so.
I don't know. Like, I can definitely see that it would be related to. I did Kenpo for a number of years, back in military. Back in middle school.
No.
What the heck? No, I'm not military.
You went to military middle school?
Yes, military middle school. Yeah, no, back in middle school and high school, I did Kenpo for a number of years. So, yeah, I could definitely see, like, the stances we would do, the different poses and stuff could definitely be influential for that. But once I found out in book 2 that the firebenders could bend frickin' lightning, I knew for sure that's what I would want to do.
I mean, I can metal bend, yo.
Well, you'd have to train really, really hard for that. I would just have to keep firebending regularly, but risk my own health by trying to get electricity to course through my body. So
that sounds like training really, really hard, though.
Yeah.
Like metal bending requires training really, really hard, but lightning bending requires training really, really hard.
No, it just requires that your heart doesn't
and a calm state
down.
of mind.
It just requires that
sounds like training really hard.
It requires an iron will. See what I did there?
And your chi has to be balanced.
You are killing
okay.
me.
Yeah.
All right.
I have pretty balanced chi. I bought a couple of sets based on Shima, so I would think I'd have pretty balanced chi.
Oh no.
I hate myself.
I think at this point you're...
Sure, Jan.
Okay, Sam. Well, then, what about you? What elemental bender would you be?
Guys, I'm gonna be fully honest. I'm the dude that gets his cabbage stand destroyed every single time. I'm gonna be that dude. I don't think I'd
be cabbage bending.
You don't bend elements. You're just a cabbage seller.
He's a non-bender, guys. He's freaking Sokka, guys. Come on.
I don't think I'd bend. I think I don't have the patience, and I don't have the focus to be like, you know what? I'm going to move that rock. I'm going to move this air. Nah, I'm just going to be like, I have cabbages. I just want to sell cabbages and make money.
He's the cabbage lord.
Lame answer.
Actually, not really. He's got the greatest power of all. Money bending.
No, he has the greatest power of all. Screen time.
That is true. I guess if you guys
even though Aang would technically trump that, but
I'm gonna be okay. So I guess I guess if you guys make me choose, but I'm gonna.
Yes, we are gonna make you choose because it's only.
I mean, I'm not. You can live your dreams, Sam, but
I
no
don't.
pressure.
I don't know, dude. What do you guys think?
Since you're such a lone wolf, I think, based on just that fact alone, you would be an airbender.
Wow.
I would say waterbender. Here's why.
I would actually say
waterbending's fairly chill, but at the same time, like it can get pretty tense. Sam is not nearly like, how would I put it, high enough to be an airbender. I'm just throwing it out there.
What? Okay.
Waterbending, yeah. Earthbending, kind of an extreme.
Because like to be an airbender, you have to be like really passive.
Yeah, like extremely
Which Sam
just
is not.
chill.
Yeah. And then of course,
yeah, no,
like,
I could definitely see you being a waterbender, because you're a pretty chill guy.
He's a pretty nice guy, ice guy.
I would
don't
kick
you think?
him if he wasn't actively recording right now.
He's a pretty ice guy.
All
right, Sam's gonna leave.
Oh, you're
I'm gonna
testing
go.
my patience, Trev.
Okay, bye, Sam.
Okay, but yeah,
bye.
no. But to retract, or not retract, but I'm
Get
sorry
back
that
on
I said
track.
firebending is. I thought firebending was karate, but no, it's actually northern style, like Shaolin Kung Fu.
Shaolin Kung Fu. Oh, so it's Kung Fu. Okay, you lied.
I would say, okay, I can see that. Except I have like no martial arts knowledge, so I'm just gonna take your word for it.
Yeah, earthbending is Hungar, and then obviously water is Tai Chi.
Tai Chi makes sense.
Under the tree.
Yo, that's where they got her name from. Tai Li, Tai Chi.
It's not even connected.
It all makes
I'm
sense
going
now.
to hurt you.
She's not a bender.
Please.
And for airbending, I have no idea what airbending is.
Airbending is.
I think there's one interesting aspect of the show, though, that because I'm thinking Ninjago in the back of my head, it's easy to take like the stereotypes of an element and quickly say, all right, the fire's the hot one, so the fire guy, he's gonna be constantly, abandoning
Arrogant.
the team and doing stupid things.
Yeah.
But one thing I appreciate about the way Avatar handles the different elements is that the elements are layered in how they can be used and in many cases abused. They often paint ways that the characters interact with each other and react to situations, and they also inform the topography of the place, the culture, the politics, everything. Like the Earth Kingdom and the Fire Nation are very different, and even though one of them's more good guy and one of them's more bad guy, there's enough on either side to throw that off. Like the Earth Kingdom is corrupt as all get out, and the Fire Nation has a bunch of pretty decent people who they just kind of went along with the rule of law. So I think that's a very interesting world-building aspect that goes just beyond, what Avatar element are you? Take this quiz on Bookface or whatever, I don't know.
That's where I got the
Bookface.
fire element thing from. Sorry.
So, Trev, this is why you're single. Like, you open up your Snapchat
okay.
with, hey,
There's a lot
babe,
of
I'm from the
reasons.
Fire Nation. Quiz told me so. That's the way you get replies.
Ready to get hot
JK
tonight?
JK
I can
Trev
feel the
lover.
flame
Anyways.
between us.
Oh my goodness. I would
Fire.
kick you if you're recording.
At least I
You're
have
fired.
At least
How about
I have a
that?
spicier personality than Sam. Anyway,
That is true.
We can, I guess. Very
I'm as
true.
boring. I'm as boring as anybody. As you guys can tell by this podcast, I am super boring.
Yes.
Sam's element is plain toast. I'm sorry, continue.
Yeah, I know that was one thing getting into the show. I was not expecting for there to be, so many differences within all of the I didn't think they were going to be able to stuff so much character development into this show, which is specifically
Especially Zuko. Oh my god.
Oh my
What
god.
a complete
which is,
180.
the show is specifically tailored to kids, and I was like, huh, how did they make such well fleshed out, well rounded characters that have actual arcs? It's really impressive. And I think, had it been maybe 10 years ago or so when I had watched the show, I think I would have kind of picked up on that stuff, but I think it would have actually made sense to a younger me, which is saying a lot because younger me didn't get a lot of things when it came to watching movies. So
Yeah, he thought the Temple of Doom was the best one.
oh my god.
Yeah.
Anyway. You always want to spark that debate, and I don't know why. I'm perfectly content with saying that The Last Crusade is a good movie, and you guys can't seem to let up.
This is why we do it.
Yeah, it's because it bugs you. Continue.
So this is why you're Fire Nation, so you can provoke a reaction from you. But yeah, no, I agree. That's something that I had a hunch at the very beginning that Zuko was going to be a good guy. My rationale at the time was, this guy's so well developed, they're not just going to throw him away in a quick season finale battle. There's no way that's going to happen.
No.
Which I don't know if that was just, I was thinking, 4 parallel universes ahead, or if it's just really good writing and I kind of had a hint from somewhere, but I definitely like that aspect. Everyone has a lot of layers, like onions.
Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure everybody was surprised when they found out that Zuko's other grandfather was freaking Roku, and I was like, what? So technically, Aang is Zuko's grandpa. Technically.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! Wow.
Wait, are you telling me you just realized that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I knew Roku past Avatar. Roku is Zuko's grandfather. I didn't quite put together 2 and 2 to get 4.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
They're not like blood related, but they're technically related, which is pretty bizarre to think about.
You know what I would have liked to see, actually? And then we'll move on to the next question. I would have liked to see... I think they technically made a book for it in the forms of comics, but seeing Zuko's mother...
Mm-hmm. I was actually told that they do like a very specific side story through like comics, and I think they're like a graphic novel, and it's like a whole like side escapade about them going to find Zuko's mother. We're jumping around all over the place right now. Like,
I think it's fine. Episode. It's flowing pretty organically. Mm-hmm. Here's my take on it, because Zuko's parents play a massive role in the show. His father most certainly. His mother more on a nuanced level. Thing is, when you take into account that there's a story behind Katara and Sokka's mother, which is pretty big in the story, and it actually defines an entire vengeance-based episode.
That one hurts.
That episode was dark.
It was
like
brutal.
That went places.
The darkest episode. So that was Katara's redemption. Is it redemption or like revenge? I don't know.
Her revenge. Man, revenge? That's a.
It felt like it had aspects of both, though. Yeah. But I think I know what you're going to say, so I'm going to change mine to second darkest episode.
Yeah,
bloodbending. I know what you're going to say.
Bloodbending was pretty wild. And bloodbending had
crazy.
Like such a crazy effect. It even like affected freaking the next sequel to or not the next sequel, but the sequel to Avatar: The Last Airbender. Korra,
yeah.
We'll talk. I'll talk a little bit about that because I've watched a few clips of it on YouTube.
I started watching the first season, so I can talk on that a bit too.
Oh, what? How do you like it so far? I didn't watch Korra because
we'll talk about it later.
Oh, okay.
Just said we'll talk about it later.
That's a little bit organized.
It's funny. You listeners thought there would actually be a format to all this. That's where you're wrong.
Well, here, let's see if we can guide it back a little bit. So, okay, there's 2 routes you can go with this. I'll start one a little bit, and then we can go from there. But one thing I find interesting, and this plays into the whole thing with Zuko's parents, is that I like how a lot of Zuko's development, and to a similar degree Azula's as well, revolved around the mom not being there. And I feel like having the mom there would cheapen the impact on them, would clash with, resolution about, Sokka and Katara's mother, and also the fact that we did already have a mini arc with Toph's mother as well. Mm-hmm. Well, actually both her parents.
Yes.
So I felt like there would have been too many mom stories, would have gotten a little bit convoluted. Like, Toph's family arc is pretty cut and dried, wrapped up. Sokka and Katara's family arc takes a good route and a bad route, which I also really liked. And Zuko's sort of inverts that, but it especially takes advantage of the fact that both of the parents are so distant that they don't directly affect him in ways that you would think. Granted, his father is still, ruling everything, and he has hurt Zuko in many ways, but he's very much more distant compared to Katara and Sokka's parents. Mm-hmm. So that's my idea there.
He's also,
I think we could spin
insane too,
which is fair.
Yeah, drunk on
But I
power.
think we could spin this into is that at the very beginning of the show, it's fairly light, upbeat. Even the parts of Zuko and Uncle Ira at the very beginning are a little bit zany in places.
Mm-hmm.
But then as the show goes on and it starts going into more of these big issues, some of which, as Sam has hinted earlier, it gets a lot more mature, and they have to make some very deliberate attempts to try and keep the fun in an otherwise very grim season.
Yeah.
Which I think was very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. There's our segue back to the beginning of the show so we can try and go in some order again.
Mm-hmm. I think, like, my first impressions getting into the show was, like, because I remember it, I spoke very deliberately to these guys when I started it, that it took a while for me to get into it. Like, it wasn't until, like, episode...
season 1's pacing was pretty bad.
Yeah, it wasn't until, like, episode, I think, like, 12, 13, I think it was the Blue Spirit episode that really got me hooked and, like, in it for the long haul. That's when you start seeing some really cool stuff with Zuko's character. You know, you start realizing he's not actually as bad of a bad guy as he seems. And like, yeah, that's for me at least where it really started picking up. Because, you know, it felt like a lot of the stuff prior to that was just very filler, like, which is insane. Because you like I'd argue the first 2 episodes are really good and like setting up the story and everything going forward, but then everything after that felt kind of like filler until, like, you know, until like episode 12. So
one thing that does strike me with the beginning episodes is that, I guess, 2 paths with characters. One, Aang is useless, as in he's always goofing around, doesn't take anything seriously.
Pretty much.
I think that's a good way to start the show, because by the time he gets to the 3rd season, he's so just high-strung and, like, scared about everything that you look back and go, this kid was, like, sliding with penguins. What's he doing now? It's just kind of crazy to think about.
He literally has the dilemma of, like, yo, man, I gotta kill somebody. And Kyoto's like, yeah, you better kill this Ooh, gotta
good save.
restrain myself here. You gotta kill this guy, or else you're gonna die. Everyone's gonna die.
That was a good
Exactly.
save, Marcus.
It's such a violent turnaround.
Yeah.
Like, Aang's just like, I'm Aang, you want to play? And then he's like, what's the value of a human life?
What's the value of it?
That really is
It's like,
the arc.
giant turtle, please tell me, what do I do? It's like, oh yeah, this dude is like, oh cool, thanks.
180 character development.
Yeah.
Like.
Let's see, and then on the other hand, someone pointed this out. I can't remember who it was. Oh, no, wait. I know who it was. So one of my favorite reviewers to hear from every now and again is Possum Reviews, because he likes to tear apart horrible movies. And one thing he pointed out when talking about the remake movie is that as he went back to watch a show, he noticed that there were several times where Sokka and Katara kept switching roles. So one episode, Katara would be the really concerned one who's trying to keep everyone in line. The other one would be all, it's okay, who cares? And then it would switch, and so then, you know, suddenly Sokka's like, oh, I'm very concerned about what's going on, and Katara's like, who cares? And he kind of noticed that flip-flop in the Scam episode towards the 3rd season. It's a little bit jarring, but one thing that definitely worked out very well is that as the show went on, they more started to separate into very distinct entities instead of just being, you know, the indistinguishable pair. Yeah, which I definitely think was a good step in the right direction.
Which I'm gonna jump on that.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, who wants to jump on? All right, I'm gonna jump on this first.
Go for it.
Because, like, literally the dark episode we were talking about with Katara, when she, like, tried to take her revenge, I remember Katara saying to Sokka, saying that you didn't love the mother the way I did. And it was like, yo.
Don't even get me started. I was gonna talk about basically the same thing. I really do think,
go ahead.
I really do think that season 3 they ruined Katara, because, like, you know, while it's good that they, like, started to kind of disconnect Sokka and Katara's, like, personalities from one another, Katara just feels like too stern of a character. She's too upfront with everyone. She's like, you know, she's a jerk. She's like, you know, she doesn't keep Sokka's interest in mind, even though they're both sharing the exact same pain. And it's just like why? Like, yeah, they ruined her in season 3, and it disappoints me, because she's a really neat character. Like,
what do you mean by ruined? Like,
hard disagree.
They just flawed her? Is that what you're saying?
Like, I guess the direction that they took her in, I just did not like it. I thought that,
because I feel like you need to talk about like these kind of things. Like, it's okay to have this like kind of it's not okay. I mean, there I guess different morals for other people, but I guess it's good to talk about like grudges and stuff like that.
Well, like that's like yeah, like that's totally fine. Like I do understand where they're coming from in terms of like a storytelling standpoint, and like, you know, it makes sense that her and Sako would, you know, cope with their pain in different ways, because they're not the same person. I just didn't like it personally. I know it's more of a personal thing in that instance. I just think that throughout season 3 they didn't do. They kind of ruined her character for me in season 3.
I'm gonna disagree.
I get you. Oh, let's go.
Oh no.
I personally think that they made. I personally made her season 3. I think they made her more of. She's more realizing what the world is like and what she has to do. It's not. She can't be a kid anymore. She has to grow up, be a soldier, be strong, and do what she needs to do to save the world. She can't be giggles and happiness all the time. She's like, I have to do what even if I have to sacrifice my own happiness, I have to do this. And so that's why
I understand that. It just
season 3.
I thought it just makes her.
I thought season 3 is probably the best character.
An unsatisfying character.
And one at a time there. Sam, what you were saying?
Oh, I just think that season 3 really made her show who she really is. Like, who she is, and not... Like, just that she's just a side character. It like made her one of the big characters. I'd put her up there with Aang, personally. For season.
I would agree on that. But then, what was the thing you just said, Trev?
Like, yeah, I see what they that's what they tried to do with her for season 3. It's just like, man, it's just, I feel like it doesn't really get a whole lot of resolution as to like why she's so like on edge about stuff. Like you know, they explain it's like her mother and everything, but like, man, I feel like they don't wrap it up in the best possible manner, arguably.
See, the way I see it is that they're deep into Fire Nation territory. So the beginning season, they're mostly around Water Nation areas, a little bit of Earth Nation. It's pretty familiar, pretty known. Season 2 really starts to throw all that off because now they're in areas where the tension is a little bit higher. It's not so familiar as home anymore.
Book 2 was my favorite, by the way. I love Book 2.
Exactly.
I love Book 2 as well.
Because Book 2 that starts to find that like the balance between kind of keeping it fun but keeping it tense, especially everything revolving around Ba Sing Se.
Man,
which
Ba Sing
honestly
Se.
in many ways felt like a political drama, but with a bunch of karate and kung fu, which is great. I apologize for butchering it.
No.
Book 3 before we get the controversy.
Oh god, no.
Now they're fully in Fire Nation territory. There is no way out. They have been decimated. They know that they do one stupid thing wrong, they are dead. I would not blame them all for one bit for lashing out, being angry, acting irrationally. Aang is the most irrational that season possible.
Oh yeah.
But the way they go about it, it's growth. And there are only 2 times where that season is able to deliberately have some fun comedy-based filler episodes. I use filler very lightly here.
Yeah.
The one is, you know, the stereotypical anime beach scene, which turned out to
actually that beach episode was actually, in my opinion, was very necessary for Azula's and Ty Lee's character arc.
Very much so.
Exactly. And not only that, but also just help to lighten things up a little bit. Because even though, you know, these kids are part of a, you know, genocidal war machine, they're at least able to demonstrate that they're actual human beings. And especially not only between Azula and Ty Lee, but also with Mei and Zuko. Because I couldn't buy for 1 minute that they actually liked each other. And then the episode slowly sold me onto that fact.
The boiling rock. Oh.
Exactly. And then at that point, I'm like, all right, I buy it. The second one, which is the greatest for memes, is the Ember Island players, because not only are they able to give Team Avatar a bit of a break, but they're also able to poke fun at the entire show so far and be like, hey, you know, it's pretty tense right now, but here's where we started, here's where we are, it's gonna be okay. Which I think was fun, and a very good deliberate move to take a very tense situation with very tense characters and still keep it, you know, from completely depressing and stressing the audience.
Wait, Aang's a girl?
The what? So it's like every one of those little twists there, and to bring up, you know, our friend Shyamalama Ding Dong again. One of my favorite things is the edit where they took all the reactions of the characters from that episode and they spliced in footage from the movie.
Oh my god.
And what kills me, because I love special effects, at the very end, they're walking away and they're all complaining, and Sokka says in the original episode, the special effects were good, but when you splice that next to, Shyamalama Ding Dong's, water and whatnot, I'm thinking, no! The special effects I could do better with a copy of Trap Code. I'm not going to try, because I don't want another headache. My doctor says I need to lower my stress, but the point being...
Yeah, I know, like, for me, with with book 3, man, they kicked that book off with a banger first episode. Because I was thrown for a loop. I was like, man, wait, what happened? Because, they got the whole thing where it's like they're on a Fire Nation ship, and Aang has hair again for some reason, which I hate so much. It's cursed.
I mean,
I dig it.
He was dead for like
a week. He was dead, yeah.
I dig it. I dig the hair.
Yeah, but like,
I grow that much hair in a week. What's his secret?
Nah,
not that I want to know or anything.
I don't know about that, Chief. But like, yeah, I thought the way that they started that that season was really impressive. Just they kind of were like, okay, we've done all this stuff. Now here's where stuff gets real. Like, we're to quote another film franchise that we're quite into. We're in the end game. Anyway.
Hey, at least the main
character
didn't
lost
die,
host.
Oh my god.
Marcus, I think Chris might kill you.
Might?
His inner Kyoshi is coming out.
Oh god.
Yes.
No. Oh man.
And unlike Aang, I will not hesitate to take a life.
Right. I still don't know where I live.
So I'm gonna go ahead.
Find you.
I want to say something because I haven't really been very talkative. I guess all these guys are really saying what I'm thinking, so I'm not speaking that much, and I apologize for that. But
talk more, fool.
You guys are saying exactly everything I'm thinking. So, but my favorite episode, and it doesn't even have anything to do with Aang really. It's the Roku episode where they show his flashback, how he became Avatar, and the rise of Sozin, and then I really like that episode. Like, I'll go back and just watch that episode, just that episode, because it is done super well. And honestly, it makes me want to have a Roku spinoff.
Yeah, believe it. That episode's called "The Avatar and the Fire Lord," if I recall correctly. I'm checking here on IMDb just to be sure.
Like the parallel editing with that, between like Aang talking with Roku about it and like Zuko reading the scroll.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Very seamless.
I guess. Yeah, are we gonna go into favorite episodes here? Because I would love to do that.
Oh no, I got one more thing. Y'all said the saddest episode was, or was it? Did you guys say saddest?
Darkest.
No, darkest.
Darkest. Okay, I'm gonna go with the saddest. Oh God, Bison. God, the name just escaped.
Appa. Yeah, losing Appa. I was gonna say this actually.
When Appa gets lost and they show his flashback, dude, I cried.
Oh yeah.
Everybody gangsta till the Appa flashback.
No, because I'm one of those.
The circus was hard. I'm like, bro.
I'm one of those guys.
Screw this firebender.
I got the Rona. I'm one of those guys where I don't care who it is. It could be a fictional animal. If I feel like it's in any distress or in pain in any way, I get like angry or sad. And I was like, whenever Appa was getting like firebended and tortured and stuff like that, I was like, I am ready to fight someone.
All right, Sam, we're kicking you off the cast, and we're forcing you to go watch I Am Legend right now. All right.
Trev, why would you do that to him? Gosh.
I like I Am Legend.
But
okay,
whatever.
Yeah, but
Sam
the
dying.
feels. The frickin' feels.
Yeah, did you forget that's the name of the dog?
Oh, you meant an I Am Legend.
You saw what I did there.
Yeah, when
happy
Sam
you caught that.
Yeah. It's been years since I watched that movie.
Yeah, it's been a while here too.
Oh no.
Okay, to piggyback off of the favorite episode for me, man, Tales of Ba Sing Se, what a good episode.
Everybody gangsta till Uncle Iroh sings.
Yeah. Everybody gangsta till Uncle.
Yo, actually, I want to go off this. Actually, do you want to finish first? I can let you finish.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, like, man, I love that episode. Like, I love the really cool, like, approach of, like, telling different stories throughout the episode, focusing on different characters, giving them each, like, a time to shine. And then, you got the really heartfelt ending with Iroh, longing for his lost son, which is also, ironically and very tragically, I guess, the last episode where the voice actor for Iroh was present as the voice actor for the character before he passed away.
Yeah. No.
Man.
No.
Yeah. It's like, when you finally, like, find out that context, it's like that episode hits even harder. And God, yeah. I also love Sokka's bit in that episode. I love Sokka all around, and his bit in that episode is so freaking funny.
Yeah. For our audience who may not be aware, the original voice actor for Uncle Iroh was Makoto Iwamatsu, who he passed away. I think that the episode before this one, The Tales of Ba Sing Se. So it says here on IMDb, his tale concludes in his honor, who passed away during the production of the second season. I think the impact he left on the show was so great that the actor who eventually carried on Iroh in the rest of the show, he would not do any singing. I think, no singing like whatsoever, because he didn't want to try and, even dare to one-up Makoto's performance.
Well, if you think about it,
that was a good professional note.
I mean, if you think about it, the new voice actor didn't even speak that much in book 3. If you really think about it.
Yeah, which I think was partially to remedy the fact that, the original voice actor wasn't there. Which I thought was really smart on their part,
Didn't the original voice actor also voice Aku?
Yes,
from Samurai
he was
Jack?
also
Yes.
Aku from Samurai Jack, so it's like, man, it hurts.
Yep.
He
was also in a Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go.
Yes.
I'm reading this title here and I'm going, wow, that's a mouthful.
I've never heard of that show before.
I think
my roommate mentioned it.
I think I've actually watched that before. It's Cartoon Network, right?
I have no clue. All I just see is just a super massive long title and thinking, all right. But yeah, so the new voice actor, I'll have to find his name here pretty shortly. But he would carry on Uncle Iroh's role after that episode. And yeah, no singing at all in honor of the original voice actor, and from what we've confirmed, not a whole lot of lines by the end of it all.
Yeah. All right, Marcus, what about you? Yeah. Favorite episode? Hit us with it.
I'm gonna jump on that like Tales of Ba Sing Se episode. I'm not saying it's like my favorite. Are we talking about favorite status? I forgot. Favorites, right?
Favorites, yeah. We keep losing track of.
I've never seen so many fan theories all in one go in a short time period. When it appeared on Netflix after the Last Airbender, I was like, what the? Like, just reading these fan theories, and I'm just like, yo, this is true. Because, like, if we're talking about this Tales of Iroh, right?
Well, Tales of Ba Sing Se,
if you think about it, think about all the interactions he had with the 3 people. A child, a teenager, if I remember correctly, and an old man.
Oh.
Like, he acted like a father.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and it was like, that's what I'm saying. He just acted like a father, and he just misses his kid. That's basically it.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, I know that's kind of
like the stages of fatherhood.
That's the really cool thing about his character, is it fills the void.
Because he lost his son, so he never
really had he never really had a son. So that's like why Zuko kind of is like his, Yeah.
Well, not just that, but the interactions of the episode are basically an accelerated lifespan.
That's
so
true.
As he's going about his day, he's basically watching a kid accelerate, quote unquote, from young to old, in a way that mirrors the way that his son would have had things gone different. Oh gosh, my heart! You're killing me right now.
But my favorite episode was definitely, I think, in book 1, where where is it? I don't remember, but like, what's that general's name?
I know who you're talking
It's the
about.
general that
let me look it up. I got
killed the
right here.
fish.
Oh God, something with an S.
The fishmonger. I'm kidding. I don't know.
Fishmonger.
I'm sorry. Here, I got it pulled up on IMDb. So, Commander Zhao. There we go.
Commander
That's
Zhao.
Zhao,
Yeah.
yeah.
When he
Screw
killed
that
the
guy.
fish, I was like, yo, things got dark. Like the stakes were raised and everything was just like, oh shit. And then Iroh was like, no, what have you done? Even though I'm like, Fire Nation, you literally destroyed the balance of the world. Why?
See, we say it got dark. It literally got dark.
Yeah.
Dude,
Like, what
that
sold
was
what
man,
finally sold the show for me, and what I think was also a big factor for Trev, was the use of lighting and color in that episode.
Man, that episode
That
is
was
so
sick.
good. Just from that alone.
When the
man.
blood moon rises again.
Plus, here's the power of showing and not telling it in action here. So when I watched the movie that shall not be named, that is not in Ba Sing Se, I remember watching the part where they're talking about the moon spirit being a fish. I thought, that is the dumbest thing ever. This is hilarious. And the way that the movie presents it, with this horrible exposition, it's so lazy, I felt like I had every right to think that was the dumbest idea ever. But the way that they show it in the actual episode, because people there had brains and they didn't have M. Night Shyamalan's, massive ego, it actually made sense. They portrayed, okay, here's how the spirit world works. Here's why it even would be a fish. I'm like, this makes total sense. It's not stupid anymore. It never was stupid.
Exactly.
Which I just found as a very interesting note about that episode. That just like, what?
Yeah, that episode 2
Yeah.
is very up there for me as well. But what about you, Chris?
Well, see, now you're challenging it. I was gonna jump on board with Tales of Ba Sing Se. Everybody gangsta.
Just do it.
But I'm kind of rethinking it for the sake of discussion.
Mhm.
I kind of want to go with Ember Island Players because the comedy is just, it's so good.
It is a really funny episode.
Oh, yeah, especially with the ending of the play, and then Aang's like, wait a second, this play is right, I might fail.
See, that's something I thought was brilliant. It's this really goofy episode that kind of makes no sense, but it manages to do a couple things right. For one, it starts to indicate that Aang and Katara, who we assume to be a couple, quote unquote, it's not that cut and dried.
Okay, I'm just
And
gonna
one-
say, we might lose viewers. Well, I might say the most controversial thing ever on this show.
Please.
I don't really support, what do you call it, like that ship, Katara and Aang. That was just really forced in my opinion. That's just me. I'm just saying.
Is it
I
bad?
can't
that makes
argue
sense
with
at the same
forced. I'm not gonna go with forced. I'm gonna go with logical, I guess. Like it
Yes.
makes sense that that's where they'd end
Yeah.
up. But they don't give it like they really had a choice there. But what they did like about that episode, though, is that it made it took the audience back for a second and said, hey, whoa, hold up. Don't go assuming it's all set in stone here. Because just because guy and girl in the same room, that doesn't mean anything. And I feel like that episode really sort of indicated that this assumption that Aang's had the entire time that, oh, he's the Avatar. He can wield all elements. He could save the world. He'll figure out eventually. But he's got to be good with Katara, right? No, that's not the case at all.
No.
And
He's
especially
12.
contrasting that with the way that Sokka and Suki interacted, where they're basically the perfect couple the entire time.
Man.
'Cause a lot of their interactions are actually pretty adorable in an episode. I think it's a pretty interesting contrast.
Sokka
Now,
goes
I mean,
through
I'm
so
one of the
much
most-
throughout the whole show, and it hurts. I felt so
Yeah.
bad for that man the whole time. When he finally got Suki, my heart. Man. Felt good.
And see, what I like about that is the way that their relationship is portrayed, it runs along with Sokka's arc of learning to not think he's the greatest thing in the world.
Exactly.
Which I think was pretty great. Because I'm not the biggest, shipping fan in fandoms or whatnot or blah, blah, blah. But one thing that I absolutely despise is when a romantic pairing happens in a show that does not advance the narrative whatsoever.
Who's
I feel like for the
Which
sake
one-
of Sokka and Suki, that actually advances it.
Who's Suki? I don't know the name. Like I know the main
not-
three.
The fangirl from with the like face paint and then
Oh, the
Yeah,
Kyoshi warrior.
Yes.
Okay.
Kyoshi Warrior. Yes.
Well, I love how he knows Kyoshi. He can identify Kyoshi Warrior faster than he can identify fangirl. Ironic.
Well, to be fair, that episode had two types of fangirls: the Kyoshi Warriors and the girls following Aang around.
You're right. That's good.
Anyway, continue with your point.
To quickly wrap up that episode. The fact that they're able to get some serious, very small moments in there, but wrap it around just some comedy, and also a little bit of self-aware poking fun, I think that's pretty great. Mm-hmm. And one of the best jokes of all time is when Stage Toph, who's not the real Toph, is this big, massive dude with a bass voice that rivals Jared's, and he's like, "Yes, I navigate my echolocation," and he just screams. And Toph says, they totally nailed my character, and Toph can't see a thing.
The part that killed me for that episode was when Jet dies, and then Zuko's like, "So what happened to him?" And then Sokka's like, "We never really know. We actually don't know." And I'm like, "What?"
Man, I also
that's the self-aware part.
I also love, and I know you guys can attest for this, the episode where Jet shows up. I know it's early in book 1, or about midway through book 1. I remember we have photographic evidence. I'm pretty sure I saved a screen.
Oh yes, let's talk about this. Yes.
I at the beginning of the episode, I was like, man, Jet's pretty cool. I like this guy. He's gonna get guitar and everything, and then
wait 5 minutes.
Literally 15 minutes later.
Literally, I went from that, and then 15 minutes later was like, man, I hate Jet's guts so much. I hate this guy. He is the absolute worst. And I think that's just the power of that show is in 15 minutes. It takes you from absolutely loving a character to absolutely hating them and thinking they're an atrocity and wishing they were wiped off the face of the earth.
Don't you be talking about the airbenders like that.
Right there. Man.
Oh gosh.
We've killed Chris.
I'm gonna die.
Good.
You're gonna kill me. One thing I will say though, that'll probably make some people mad, that we're gonna link them in this episode afterwards. The fact that Avatar's episodes are, what is the average length again? 20-something minutes?
22. It should be the average.
22 minutes. Thank you. 22 minutes is pretty much the average runtime for, I hate using this term, but I have to run with it, a kid's show, quote unquote. Because usually you can piece two of them back to back with your commercial breaks, and it all nets out to roughly an hour or so. Ninjago did the same thing when it had 22-minute episodes. But they had this idea to split them up into 11-minute episodes. You can't do crap in 11 minutes. 22 minutes gives you plenty to work with, because then you can quickly take your 15 from Jet is the best to Jet is the worst. And I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Which
I would argue with that point, but I don't want to because we're talking Avatar. But yeah,
I'll
it's
swing
really
it
impressive
back a little bit, and I'll say this, because, again, it'll make people angry. Avatar is 1,000 times better than Ninjago. I'm just going to have to say it.
Oh, it's true.
Yes. I mean, I love both shows. They're both great. But one thing that Avatar does time and time again, which I think is amazing, is it always follows through on things. And it doesn't just throw in random elements for the sake of quote-unquote world building or whatnot, and then never follow up on them ever again. Anything that ever happens in the show has some sort of payoff or an acknowledgement that it's not important, we kind of wrapped it up here, we're good to go. Really, besides Jet, I can't think of anything that wasn't seriously wrapped up or just laid to rest. And even then, that was just a comedic note.
Heresy.
Fight me.
I can't believe
Fight me.
Can't believe you've done this, Chris.
I mean, I can save an episode where I talk about Ninjago, because it is a fun show.
All right.
Avatar does repeatedly
I
what
think
I wish that show would just do.
The benefit it has over Ninjago is I think it knew when to quit. Because Avatar was,
we
Avatar
looked at Korra.
Originally...
They continue with Korra.
Well, yeah, that's kind of a different case. But if you look at it, Avatar was originally supposed to be a single season show, as far as I'm aware. But then they found out it had some staying power, and they were like, we're gonna do this for at least 3 seasons, and there was supposed to be a 4th as well. But that ended up kind of, I guess, devolving into what just became like stories written in comics and like little abridged novels and stuff.
So okay,
the story.
So speaking of supposed to have one season, let's transition into Korra because I think I have some stuff to say about it. I know. Okay, so
yes.
I'll go ahead and go first. I think what I heard, like Korra was only supposed to be like one season, like again.
Yes, it was.
And so, but they wrapped. But unlike Avatar, they actually wrapped it all up in one season. So instead of it being like an overlaying story over multiple seasons, it's season by season by season. I did not like some things in Korra. I liked. I really liked the city. It had a nice like like the 20s feel, like a
it's industrialism.
Yeah. I liked that.
Mm-hmm.
What I did not like was how so spoiler for anybody who haven't seen Korra.
No, don't spoil this because we said we were going to talk about Avatar, not Korra. Come on, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, here's the thing, because we do timestamp our episodes whenever I'm able to get around to it. We may as well, because from what I've noticed, the majority of the fan base who loves Avatar, either they've already watched Korra as well, or they just don't want to watch Korra. There's very few people who have watched Avatar and love it enough to listen to a show like this, but are still trying to work through Korra. It's probably a very small minority.
Okay, so
I am that minority.
Keep in mind, I watched all of this throughout YouTube. I never actually watched the whole series through. I just watched scenes on YouTube. But from what I can gather...
So your opinion's irrelevant and invalid because it's not a full...
Sam has seen more of it than any of us have.
Anyway,
I've seen 6 episodes. So,
what they did was they killed Aang. He was like 66 when he died, and from what I gather, they made it because he was frozen in ice for 100 years. He was actually 166 years old, and that was his body just couldn't handle it anymore. I think like the oldest Avatar was like Kyoshi, and she was like 235, I think, something like that. But with Avatar, with Korra, they did something I didn't care for. They ruined the Avatar cycle. The spirit the spirit that was in Korra, it was like the light spirit. Somebody managed to rip it out of Korra and killed it, and she can't connect to her old self. The Avatar cycle is done. Like, they can't connect to past avatars to get advice. She can't enter the Avatar mode. She just is a girl, and everyone's like, "Oh, that ties into the first Avatar." Be like, yes and no. It's just they did that, and I was like, I don't like that idea because it kind of ruins Avatar for me, because it's like, even though the Avatar's gone, or even though Aang dies, he still comes back. He's still the Avatar, and there's going to be another Avatar after him, another one after them. But whenever they did that, it was like, not a big fan.
See, yeah, and this is probably not helping with my bias on the issue here, but I love the first series so much. I don't feel like a good follow-up could capitalize on those themes and run with them. Thing is, if you're going to put together such an intricate world-building mechanism, and I guess really a character-building mechanism such as the Avatar cycle, but you're not going to take it to further extents, you're instead just going to retrograde it. I'm not sure how I feel about that, you know? Like, I see it this way. Avatar was like a fantastic steak dinner. Really great. Had a great time. Fantastic. But I'm not quite...
beef.
Exactly. There we go. But the thing is, I don't want to follow that up with an ice cream sundae that might be good, but doesn't have the best talk of the town, I guess you could say. It's a horrible analogy, but like, I had such a great time with the first series. I kind of don't want to end it with, oh, that was alright.
Okay, so I didn't listen to what Sam said.
Oh no, we're still talking, man. We're still talking.
Man, whatever. But like, I don't. You know, I'm still not done with the show by any means. But like, yes, from initial reception, I have heard that that's what most people say about the show, is that like, yeah, it's, you know, it's like a neat continuation. It's not something necessary, but it's cool that people did it anyways. And the show is a bit, you know, it's a bit rocky in bits from the first 6 episodes that I've seen. I enjoy it so far. The world.
The question is, before we switch back to you, Sam, I gotta ask this, Trev. How many episodes did you get into Avatar before you decided, okay, I can vibe with this?
12.
All right. So logically, if you go another 6 episodes into Korra, and you hit that same point, then it's probably a good sign. If it takes longer,
that is a good. That's a very good point.
Sign.
That's a very good point.
If it takes less, then wow. Even
though it's already gotten me from the second episode, I thought the second episode where they start to introduce like the elemental the games that they do, I was like, man, that is cool as heck. I love that. It's really neat. I'd imagine that's not something they do throughout the whole rest of the show, but
not from the IMDb summaries here.
Yeah.
So,
but like, I thought that was really neat.
So back to what I did like about the series. I mean, from what I've seen, like, again, I haven't seen all the episodes, but I kind of liked how they portrayed Aang as a father, from what I've seen. So the only Airbender I think of the 3 kids that Aang and, oh god, why am I blanking on the name?
Tenzin?
I'm hoping you're gonna say Katara.
Katara, there we go. God.
Oh no, okay, you're talking about Katara.
My ship holds. I'm kidding.
God, I don't know. Anyway, so only one is an Airbender, and that's Tenzin, and he's voiced by J.K. Simmons. Fun fact.
Yes, which blew my mind.
Oh my. You serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Yes.
And then
I was like, that's J.K. Simmons, isn't it? But I didn't think it was J.K. Simmons. I looked at it. It's J.K. Simmons.
Yeah. So anyway.
Does he want pictures of Spider-Man, or is it engineers going to invent a combustible lemon?
So
yes.
Here's what I was going to say. I liked it that I betrayed Aang as a father, but he had favorites. Tenzin was an Airbender. The other daughter, I can't remember her name, she was a waterbender. And then the youngest was Boomy, and he wasn't anything. He wasn't an Airbender, he wasn't a bender, he was just a person. And everybody, like, that's what like, throughout the show, you kind of tell that Tenzin was the favorite of Aang, and the other daughter, I can't remember her name, again, she was the favorite of Katara, and Boomy just was there. I kind of like that angle. The only thing I did not like about the series, again, was that they killed off the Avatar state. I didn't like that.
Oh, I didn't know that, but...
You would have known that if you were listening to the earlier part.
Well, I wasn't, because I didn't want to. So... But yeah, first thoughts, I think it's really neat. I love the world, like, the progression of the world, you know, being in this, like, you know, pre-industrialized era is really neat. Like, there's some really funny things that they kind of do with that. But like, yeah, I don't have a lot to gather from it so far. I like the brothers Bolin and oh god, what Mako. Mako and Bolin are very fun. Still gotta get a little bit more introduction to Korra, because she kind of seems like a bit of a blank slate from the start of the show. A little too angsty for my tastes too, but. But yeah,
queue up the Linkin Park.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess you'll have to keep us posted.
Going from that, speaking of characters, so let's take a quick second to say, who do we think each of us would best? Well, no, I guess who's your favorite character? Let's do that. Not who you would identify as. Who's your favorite character in the show?
Zuko, hands down.
Stole my line.
Yo,
is everybody gonna say Zuko?
If we all say Zuko, then we all gotta assign each other different characters. And do reverse
Sam said
this.
Appa.
Appa.
Yeah.
Okay, I can
That's
respect that. He's pretty cool.
Dude, he is. He don't. I'm gonna have to add a dragon frame. He don't give a. He just wants to fly and eat. Hey, that's all he wants to do. I can respect that.
And sleep. Yep.
Appa.
And also, he just vibes with Aang, which is respectable.
I vibe with Aang. I can vibe with Aang. But Appa.
In that case, Sam's assigned character is Appa.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down for that.
Yep.
I just need.
Trevor's assigned character is Sokka because he's a joke.
Yes. Yeah. No, like, yeah, for me, it's definitely Zuko. Like, Zuko is my utmost favorite in the show. Another thing. Flat top, short-haired Zuko is my favorite. I don't like shaggy-haired Zuko. I don't like ponytail-haired Zuko. A lot of people give me flack for that, and I'm sad about it. But I prefer short-haired Zuko. That is my favorite. But yeah, if I had to pick a different character, it would be Sokka. You know, I love me a fun-loving, joke cracking character who just knows when to keep it light, and he has a lot of cool character progression throughout the show. That's my answer.
For me, first choice would be Zuko. Second choice would definitely be Toph or Iroh. Definitely Toph, though, probably.
I can respect that.
I would totally hang out with Toph for an entire day, and we would be like stealing everybody's money.
Toph would be a hoot to hang out with, I'm sure.
I'd see how it is.
A hoot and a half.
Hoot and a half. What the? Okay, sure.
That's fair. Honestly, Toph was a second on my list. I just like how sarcastic she is. One thing I absolutely love is that, well, she's blind, and she works that into her humor in really funny ways. Mm-hmm. Like there's the one point where they're sticking up posters to find Appa, and she gets really mad, just takes the glue, slaps on the poster, slams against the wall, but the printed side's on the wall, and she says, "It's upside down, isn't it?" That line had me laughing for a good few seconds straight. That was brilliantly written. Mm-hmm. Or yeah, she's just like, "I'm blind."
I love with her too how it's like, you know, they do make fun of her quite a bit about it, but it's like, you know, she's one of the most like badass characters and like one of the most powerful characters in the show.
She's also a melon head.
She's kind of used to
probably
She's the melon lord. She's the melon lord.
I'm the melon lord. The melon lord. Let's be honest. She could probably beat the Fire Lord as well. Probably the second person to beat the Fire Lord.
Yeah. She didn't have Aang's gift, but sure.
Also, 10 out of 10, she's probably killed like 1,000 people in that show.
Yeah.
Throwing rocks at people of like giant size, like giant boulders, that stuff hurts.
That's pretty lethal.
Like that thing breaks ribs.
The boulder considers your statement.
Also,
the boulder.
Can I also say how lucky that little rock that stabbed Aang in the back at the end fight was?
Oh, unlocking his chakra?
Yeah. Can we just say, like, that one pebble saved the entire world?
It wasn't even a pebble. It was just, like, the actual rock.
It's like the rat saving humanity in Endgame. Like,
you stole my line. You freaking stole my line.
Good. I knew you were going to say that.
The rock is to Avatar what the rat is to Endgame.
To Endgame. Oh, my God. That's wonderful.
That's a horrible note to end a podcast on. So I'll end with a even worse one here. There are 2 Lego Avatar sets. They're so horrible, they're not worth talking about.
Pretty much, yeah.
You mean the block?
There's an ideas set that is in the review stage right now that we all hope would go through. I don't know with licensing how that would work because Nickelodeon and Lego are a bit rocky with licenses at the moment. But who knows? Maybe we'll get lucky.
Didn't know that.
We'll collectively hold our breath, and if it becomes a reality, you'll probably hear about it on a future episode.
I'm sure.
But until then, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Frame100 podcast. If you have any thoughts on the show, please leave a comment or tag us on Twitter with #Frame100podcast. We'd also like to thank Lots of Toast for the awesome theme music. Please go check out his channel and support his work. If you want to hear more from us, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Until then, stay tuned for next episode, and keep brick filming.